I've lived with you for 2 years, 2.5 years, and we've pretty much exclusively been in the house for those 2 years. This is a change of pace. What was the first feeling you had when we left the ground?
It's interesting when you say things like feeling. Because I'm going to say this, and some people will think it's a negative, but I promise you I really see it as a positive. But I don't think I feel that much anymore. I really believe my dopamine receptors are just fried. I think I've been so high and so low. Imagine you took an egg, right? And you dropped it and took it down to the bottom of the ocean, the Mariana Trench, and then put it in the ISS, International Space Station. It just goes all the way down, all the way up. By the time the egg gets back to surface level, I don't know if it's scrambled, fried, boiled. I don't know what's happened to the egg. It's just fucked. You know, like, I was a professional fighter. I risked my life in the cage and in the ring 87 times. And then I was basically homeless. And then I had my webcam business. I was a pimp. And then I got filthy rich. And then I got Bugattis and unlimited females and mansions and jets. Then I became famous. Please understand, most people have a cool life story with one of these things. I was a fighter. That's their life story. Or I was rich. That's their life story. I was famous. That's their life story. I've had all of it. I've had every flavor of ice cream. Then they threw me in a Romanian dungeon, lawfare, 3 years. Like, what's left to excite me now? I have to become president or prime minister. I can't think of anything else left to do. So it's like, what did I feel? I don't really feel very much anymore. I think a lot. I think, but I don't feel things as much. I have the remnants. People will hear that and say, oh, well, you're missing out. And I would say that, no, I think there's a certain amount of feeling inside of all of us, and I've used all mine doing super cool shit. And if you had a very interesting life like me, you'd feel shit too. But it's very interesting when you say feel. I am so good under stress all of the time, and so good in the worst scenarios. I can laugh on my way to the chopping block. I'll laugh as they put my head in the guillotine. I don't give a shit. And there's no light without dark. So if you're the kind of guy who can stand there as they shoot you with their last bullet and remain unfazed, then you're also the kind of guy who gets on the jet after 3 years of incarceration, lights a cigar. I mean, I'm happy, sure. But I knew I was going to win. I knew I was going to win. I knew I was going to win. God made me to annoy my enemies. That's why I exist. I'm the winner. No matter how much you think you got me, you're never going to get me. I win. So it's kind of like, yeah, give me that expensive cigar. Thanks for the jet, transatlantic. Let's go to Miami. No big deal.
Two and a half years, house arrest. What's one thing that you're going to miss the most about that time period?
I already miss house arrest. I've been out of the house, what, 6 hours? Best thing about house arrest is that there's no FOMO. You'd think you'd have insane FOMO under house arrest, but in fact, all FOMO goes away. When you can go out the house, you feel like you need to be somewhere. Where do I need to go? It's spring break. Which party? When you're on house arrest, all that goes away. I'm on house arrest. I have to do my training and sit on my laptop, service my females and stroke my dog. It's a simple life. And I'm not very good at having a simple life, and I can't force myself to have a simple life when I am free. The people who are good at having simple lives don't often get rich. The only reason I got rich in the first place is because I was monumentally greedy and because I had insane FOMO. That's why I got rich, because I was poor and thought I'm missing out on life. So that drove me, that insatiable greed and that permanent FOMO. House arrest all went away. It was quite peaceful, to be honest with you. Now, do I go to Miami? Do I go to LA? Do I go to Dubai? Do I go to Tokyo? Where do I go? I have all these people to talk to. I have all these things I'm supposed to do. All these women are begging me for children. Blah, blah, blah. House arrest is easy. So I'm going to miss the peace of mind of it all. Truthfully, this whole criminal case is the best thing that ever happened to me, ever. And it's amazing how every single time something bad happens to you, in the end, you're glad it happened. But this, I was very cognitive and aware of the fact that I'll be glad it happened even during the darkest days of it, which made it very easy to deal with. Because even when it was at its worst, I sat there and thought, I'm going to be glad this happened to me. So it made the whole thing enjoyable. It was fantastic. I'm glad it all happened. And truthfully, I'll be honest with you. After my first time I left jail, I kept saying to Tristan, we're not done in jail. I could sense it. I could tell the future. I don't want to say I'm a psychic, but I could just feel it. I know things. I know how my story ends. I know where this story goes. I know all of it. I know I'm going to become prime minister, perhaps even president. I might upgrade it. I know all these things. And I knew I was going to go back to jail. And then after the second arrest, I said to Tristan, we're done with jail in Romania now. And now I was right. We're done with Romanian jail now. However, I do feel in the future, at some point, there is some other form of incarceration lingering. It's not UK either. Something else, something very unique. I mean, how do I get worse than Romanian jail? Uzbekistan? Fuck knows, but gotta always up the ante, so see what we can do. Before you ask the next question, I could have easily done 50 fucking years in that jail. Because I'm built different. And I have something most people don't have, which is I am stubborn as fuck. And the worse it is, the easier it was for me to go through it. The more they tried to punish me, when they took my calls away or wouldn't give me food or it was freezing cold or the cockroaches, the worse it was, the better it was. Because I know when they're trying to hurt me, by refusing to show I'm hurt, I'm annoying them back. And I'm so stubborn, I'm prepared to cut off my nose to spite my face all day long. When they were trying to make it hell for me, I'd sit there and go, they're trying to make this hell. They really want me to suffer. Watch me not care. I could have done 50 long years doing my push-ups and smiling at them. Good morning. I don't give a fuck. Built different. I'm built different. And I used to say before I went to jail, I'm a tough guy, I'm built different. I'm a fighter, I did all these things, but you know, we go through difficult things in our life. All of us do. A lot of people are full of shit. I proved I was legit. The whole point of this exercise was to make me say sorry and to make me bend. I spent 3 years talking about how the Matrix works and that the Matrix is going to come for me. Then they came for me and they spent 3 years and all they asked of me was for me to stand up and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't mean it. I know that I went too far. I'm sorry. That's all they wanted. Because then I never get to be top G ever again. Because when they put the pressure on me, I bent and I broke. Analyze every fucking video, every emergency meeting. Go and look for the apology because you're not going to fucking find it. I didn't say sorry. I didn't back down. Didn't beg for mercy. I just said, if you're going to shoot me, shoot me. So I've proved to myself, to God, and to everyone at home, I'm exactly the man I said I was. Because it's easy to fucking talk tough till you're in that situation. When you're looking at 15 years in an Eastern European dungeon, it's not easy to walk in and out of court with a smile on your face telling everyone they're full of shit and that the court's corrupt and the judge is a liar. Not many people have that level of balls. Trust me. But I do. And then, somehow, because mastery is a funny thing, it's almost like on a long enough time frame, I never seemed to lose. Because while I was doing all that, of course, I was doing my very best with my indefatigable, unmatched perspicacity to find a way out. And where there's a will, there is a way. And here we are.
So this one's for me. We'll get personal for a second. After arrest, when we're in the house, that 2-year time period, when we're in the house, we're out of the house, but we had to stay in Romania. What's one of your favorite memories? Like a specific moment, memory. It can be big, small, in between. Favorite memory. And if it helps you, I'll give you one of mine. Whenever we were doing the GT3 RS review, and we had to film the part 2, you, me, and Alex decided to go to Brasov to record. And instead of driving back, we just decided to make a mini vacation one day, 10-minute party.
Yeah.
That was just a perfect day.
That was fun.
That's a really good memory. I'll always remember that one. So, past 2 years, what's a memory that was fun for you?
I don't have favorite memories, Bailey. It doesn't work that way for me.
Fun, not favorite. Fun.
I know the question you're asking. But for me, to be honest with you, I can name events, but I think that would be disingenuous. For me to be honest with you, I had very bad days, and then every day that wasn't a terrible day was a fine day, and it was good, and it was fine. Whether I was driving a car or playing Smash Bros, or we were sparring, it was just a day. There's days which are all the same, and then you have the odd X on the calendar where something particularly bad happened, and that's kind of it. I can give you events that I enjoyed and things that happened, but I think I was in pretty much the same state of mind 99% of the time, whether we were just sitting in the house or going anywhere. But I know what you're asking me. But when I think back on these years, I'm already missing just sitting in the war room talking shit. That's all life really is. Sitting around with your boys talking shit. That's all life really is. And I have to thank the universe for giving me one of the coolest stories to tell my children. I'll go to jail 1,000 times over to have a story like this. To be targeted. Let's imagine this. Let's write a fiction novel. Because people, right? People go and watch the James Bond movie because they want to be James Bond and they find the movie interesting. And then the movie ends and they go home to their six. And then the next day they wake up and they go to their job. That's their life. They don't get to be James Bond. I got to be James Bond. I was a professional fighter who got extremely rich and wealthy. And then I got the Bugatti and the mansions and all these beautiful women. And then the British Foreign Office and the Biden administration decided via USAID and other NGOs to take me out. A hit job with the wrap-up smear to target me with the mainstream media and lie about me. And by terrible coincidence, I get picked up in the poorest nation in Europe and face a corrupt judicial system in Romania, and I'm thrown in jail. And then I get out, I'm on house arrest with my brother and some of my best friends, and we're trying to combat the narrative and find a way to escape. Most people never get to live a James Bond movie because they're scared of the bad guys. How are you going to be James Bond if you're scared of the bad guys or the bad times? People are sitting at home going, oh yeah, you know, that'd be terrible, or, oh, I'm scared if this happens to me. That's why you're not fucking James Bond. That's why you haven't got a novel. That's why you haven't got a movie about you. I get movies about me because I'm prepared to deal with all the bullshit. Watch a James Bond movie for 80% of the time he's losing. I'm prepared to go through all the loss to get that win at the end. This one jet ride now and the internet global meltdown, the BBC meltdown, the UK prosecutors meltdown, Keir Starmer's meltdown, everyone's gonna fucking piss their little panties. This was worth all of it. All of it. So I could sit here in a cashmere coat so I get to live the James Bond life. But I'm very aware that if I want to live the James Bond life, there's no light without dark. And for me to have the lights, I need to have the lows. This is the beauty of it. This is why most people will never surpass me or have a life more interesting than mine. They can't take the lows. Everyone can take the highs. Everyone can handle the highs. But handling the lows is the skill of it. And that's something I'm good at, which is why I struggle to answer your questions about fond memories and feelings. Because the only way you get good in those scenarios is you have to be able to turn a part of yourself off, the part of you that feels too much and thinks too little. Because in a lot of scenarios, in a lot of cases, including the one I was in, I don't know if you heard, but I was actually in quite a big legal conundrum about 2 hours and 10 minutes ago. Big international scandal, but it's gone now. Anyway, when you analyze these things with your mind, most of the time, it's, I'll do my best, but it is what it is. Let me make a battle plan. Let me be as hard to kill as possible. But if I get shot in the head, I get shot in the head. And the reason I'm on this plane It's because I didn't give a fuck. Because you attract what you fear. Please understand this. You attract what you fear. If I was scared of jail, I would have gone into that prosecutor's office after the first arrest. They would have thrown me in that terrible dungeon. When I finally got out and they told me to shut up and be quiet, and that they'll let me go if I'm quiet and I say sorry. If I would have done those things and destroyed my brand, I bet they would have still tried to put me in jail. And then I would have had no leverage at all, no interest in my case, no hero status, no international attention, nothing. Because if I was scared of jail, I would have attracted the jail. The fact that I wasn't afraid of the jail is the reason I beat them. Nobody, the biggest gangster in Romania said this to me. Nobody in history in Romania has ever spoken against the system, ever. Because it's so corrupt, they know if you speak against the system, they'll wreck you. Every single person gets arrested and comes out quiet and says sorry. There is 2 people on the planet in the history of Earth who have ever spoken out against the Romanian system in the middle of a judicial process, Andrew Tate and Tristan fucking Tate. First people to ever do it. And we came out gun swinging because we weren't afraid of them. I wasn't afraid of them. I'm still not afraid of them. They can do it all again. I'm still not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of your jail. I'm not afraid of your punishment. I'm not afraid of your indictments, of your paperwork, and your court cases. I don't give a fuck. Don't care. So you attract what you fear in this world. Luckily, I don't fear very much.
You want any more? Let's go back to the whole process. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm curious. Has it changed you in any way? And if so, how?
Well, life is for learning lessons. So I've learned some very tangible lessons about hiding assets and preparing for police raids and such, which is nice to know. I'll be alive another 50 years. It's good to know, to be ready for these things. That's one part. I wouldn't say I learned so much as I had things I already knew confirmed to me, which was nice to know that I was right. I knew they were going to do this. I kept calling it before they did it. I had a lot of my beliefs confirmed. I learned what I already knew. Never give up, never give in, never feel sorry for yourself, never expect pity from the enemy. You know, there's so many people out there in the world today who expect pity from their enemies or God or the universe. They expect pity. My life's so hard and I've just been doing my best, but I can't seem to make it. And they expect people to give a shit. I knew that my enemies were going to try and crush me no matter what I did. So why wouldn't I go out swinging? Why wouldn't I? I never expected pity from these people. I don't want their fucking sympathy or their fucking help. I knew it wasn't going to come. My friends would help me. I can help me. God can help me. But my enemies are going to do their very best to crush me. There's no such thing as pity. You don't get pity. So it's good to have that confirmed. You know, on one of the worst nights in jail, it was particularly cold. And I couldn't sleep because I could hear the cockroaches scrambling from place to place, all across the cell. They were on the ceiling, just out of reach. And if I used a broom, they'd all fall on the floor and get in the bed. I sat there and thought, well, I'm a full-grown man and I take responsibility for everything that happens in my life, the good and the bad. So I have to take responsibility for the fact that I'm in this jail cell, which I did. And then I thought, okay, this is my fault. I'll take it. But am I sorry? Am I sorry for anything I've done? And I laid awake all night long, thinking of my entire life. Every single day I could possibly recall. And the answer was no. I'm not sorry for anything.
Two more. This one can be quick, long, whatever. we are going to Miami, sir. What is one thing that you're looking forward to?
I'm going to contradict myself. Earlier I said I don't feel much, but that's a lie. I tried to explain that my dopamine receptors after such a unique life are fried. That's why James Bond is stoic. He didn't read a Ryan Holiday book. He's not one of you fucking losers on Twitter that has a anon profile picture and reads about stoicism. No, you become stoic by having such a fucked up life, highs and lows, that your feelings just kind of turn off after a while. That's how you become stoic. All that reading, all that, I'm going to be stoic, I'm a alpha, that's gay. And it's not real. James Bond is stoic because they've shot at him so many times, he's just fucking used to it. And as my life is a James Bond movie, I'm used to all the good things. I pick up a brand new Bugatti, I'm with a 10 out of 10. We go and get her best friend. We go to the best restaurant in the city. We go to the best penthouse in the city. They both fall in love with me all night long. I get back on my Bugatti the next day. I get on a private jet. Blah, blah. Blah, blah. I go to jail. 3 gypsies threaten to kill me near the washing machines. I tell them that I know the secrets of yoga fire. Prepared to die. Quoting Street Fighter. Please understand, I was quoting Street Fighter 2. And I meant every fucking word. So I don't feel much. But there is one thing that still brings the familiar tinge of joy, that giddish feeling, that warmness in the back of your head, that joyous feeling. I almost forgot it, but there's something that gives me just a taste of it. Like, you know, when you smell food you haven't eaten in a long time. And that is the lamentation of my enemies. When the people who don't like me get mad, I feel it again. That familiar joy feeling that I used to know so long ago. Which is one of the reasons I like having so many enemies, by the way. That's the reason I troll so hard. The reason I have to piss them all off is to make sure I don't have too many friends. Because having too many friends would suck. I don't want people to be happy for me. I want everyone to be miserable that I won. I don't want everyone to be like, "Way, you won, that's great." I want a few people to say that, but I want most people to be like, "That fucking guy always wins, damn it." See, look, I'm about to laugh. So what am I looking forward to in Miami? I'm looking forward to the conservative wife jack losers. I'm looking forward to the liberal losers. I'm looking forward to the haters, the deep state, the NGOs, the USAID. I'm looking forward to everyone being upset. I don't want to win more than I want them to lose. As long as they lose, I'm happy. I don't give a fuck about Miami. I'm going to land in Miami. Every bad bitch in Miami is going to message me. I'm not going to talk to any of them because they're all fucking filthy. I'm going to sit on my laptop. I'm going to talk inside the real world, making some money. That's all I'm going to do. So why even fly? Why we go on a plane to be on the same laptop inside of the same school doing the same thing? Because it will piss off the people who don't like me. That's it. The lamentation of my enemies. It's almost all I have left. Besides that, I live through others. I live through my children. I like to make them smile. I live through my women. I like to make them smile. I don't think of myself that often. I have things to do, but I guess after such a long saga, I do deserve to enjoy some glee. So I guess the best way to do that is to piss my enemies off, and the best way to do that is to gloat. And I'm pretty well versed, I'm pretty well practiced in such things. So I'll think of something elaborate, I don't know. The Bugatti that Decock couldn't seize, maybe I could fly that into America. Cross country in the Bugatti. Why? Why the fuck? Why the fuck not? Open carry my AR-15 and my fucking Bugatti, smoking my fucking cigar. Still not sorry for anything I've ever done.
All right, so we've touched on a lot of mindset. Last thing that we talk about, getting away from mindset, we'll go more towards practical bullet points. After everything you've gone through, what are some practical bullet point things that you can think of that people or men should implement in their own lives, learning from what you've been through. Bullet points almost.
Right, men, all of you are guilty of crimes, all of you. Every single man at home doesn't realize that they're currently guilty of a crime if the government wants to find you guilty of a crime. Every woman you've ever known is simultaneously a child and better than you at the same time. Let me give you a quick example. If there's a crazy bitch and she's nuts and everyone knows she's crazy and she always does crazy things and she doesn't listen and she's wild and I marry her and then she cheats on me and divorces me and takes half my money, you know what people say to me? Andrew, why'd you marry that crazy bitch? They won't blame the woman, they'll blame me. Fair, it's my decision. Whereas if a woman goes to the club, gets high, gets drunk, kisses 5 different men, the 5th man she goes back to a hotel with, she initiates sex, she then has sex, she's happy with that sex and considers it consensual. She asks him for a handbag, he refuses to buy it for her, and she then says it's rape. No one's gonna say, why were you drunk? Why were you high? Why were you kissing so many men? Why were you in his hotel room? Why did you say it was consensual and then change it? No, what they'll say is, that man's a predator. So women are our equal, but also better than us because of girl boss, but also at the same time, they're children where every single decision that they make wasn't their fault, it was everyone else's fault. They're in all 3 stages. Understand this, gentlemen. So if you know females, you're fucked. In the Western world, you're fucked. You're done. If they want to get you, they're going to get you via women. So the first bullet point is to keep that in mind and make sure that pussy's really worth it. It's the first bullet point. Second bullet point is some basic OPSEC. You should buy a new phone each month. I know it's a bit of a headache, but I promise you, 10 years in jail is a bigger headache. So, buy a new phone. Also, you should sleep, to be honest with you. Probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. You should sleep with a phone next to your bed, brand new, that you're pretty happy for the police to take. Because they're not going to leave your house without a phone, trust me. And then your phone should be somewhere else, if you understand what I'm saying. They're pretty thorough, but you can be more thorough. You have all the time in the world to think ahead. If you do those things, you have a good relationship with the women you see so they don't easily turn on you, because the feds are going to try very hard to pressure them to do exactly that. If you have a good network of brothers around you, if your money's offshore and well protected and hidden, you could survive most matrix attacks. Matrix attacks are simply a war like any other war. And like any other war, if you don't have bullets, you're not going to be able to win. And bullets inside of a legal case is money. You need money. I think these are pretty actionable things that basically anyone can do currently right now. Hide your money. Take care of your phone. Be very, very careful with the women you sleep with. That's the advice I'll give.